You know your husband loves you when he hates to shop, he hates New York, and he hates the cold, and he still takes you on a one-day shopping trip to New York. So today I'm going to tell you about how I did that, how I got convinced him to go, and what we bought, what I wore, what I ate, because if you're new here, I am a carnivore, and I've been doing that for over 4 years. And so what I bought, what I ate, where we went, all of that good stuff. So last Friday or yesterday, I told you that John and I were headed out to a one-day trip to New York. And we didn't even decide to go until Monday. And I knew we had talked about going to different places and maybe driving to Atlanta. And I really wanted to go to New York because I wanted to see the Christmas decor and I wanted to go to Bergdorf because when you're in Bergdorf, you can pretty much shop for anything. There's so many levels, so many brands. And I knew that I wouldn't need to go to a lot of places. My favorite in New York is Soho. I love walking around, but not in the cold and not in the crowd. So I asked him, could I go? And first I wanted to go Wednesday, and he looked at the weather and it was supposed to be ugly. So I suggested Thursday, and he looked and it was supposed to be actually the best day of the week. And I was going to go by myself. And we were in there making the flights, and he couldn't do it. He did not want me to go by myself, but he did not want to go. And I was thinking, okay, these are my choices. I can either throw a fit and go by myself, or I can stay home and be a little disappointed that, he is not going to let me go, or we could go together. And matter of fact, I called my mom and dad to see how they felt about it. Were they scared for me to go? And my mom said, no, not if you do exactly what you say you're doing, which is it's a 1 hour and 15-minute straight flight to New York. Get off the plane, get in a cab, go straight to Bergdorf and shop there and maybe go to a few of those places that are like right there on Fifth Avenue. And she said, as long as you do that, I'm not afraid for you. So I went back and told John that. And okay, and then she said this. She said, and if he doesn't want you to go by yourself, he should just go with you. Meaning, he should just suck it up. So that's pretty much what we did. As I went back in there, he decided to go with me. And I said, I've made you miserable for longer than one day before. And he said, oh, yeah. So we booked the flights for our plane took off at 7 in the morning. And then we came back. We got back at around 11 o'clock that night. Now, you may be wondering, why wouldn't we stay overnight? It is a wonderful thing, in my opinion, to just stay for one day. We didn't have to take luggage. I didn't have to pack. We didn't have to go through the luggage because I usually have a bunch of stuff to check in. It just made everything so exciting and almost better. So let me go. I'm going to go through my photos and let you know everything. So the night before, I was kind of getting him prepared because we live in Wilmington, North Carolina. We don't have a lot of cold weather. John did not even have a heavy coat. He had one heavier coat that my brother gave him, like a leather coat. So that day he bought some, I think they're Reebok brand, kind of like long underwear type things to put under his jeans. And I had already bought him some of those Uniqlo, like heat temp thin tops to wear to play golf sometimes. And then, we pretty much planned on him wearing that. And I'll tell you what I wore in just a minute. Okay, so we went to bed the night before early, watched our TV and everything. And I'll have to say he handled it so well. I mean, he never said he was excited to go or pretended it's what he wanted to do, but he really made me feel special by sucking it up to go with me. And that's one thing about who you choose as your life partner, if you're young out there, is make sure they really love who you are. Make sure they know what excites you and all of these things, and that they want to make you happy. Because honestly, I didn't think I would ever get John back to New York. We've gone before. I'll leave that video up here. And he did not like it whatsoever. So we get to the airport at 6:01. And this is my outfit. I had seen this video about what people are wearing in New York, and this was before I even had plans. And there was this young couple that just took my breath away. They were so inspiring. I think he's a producer and an artist, and she was a model. And she had on my classic Lisa faux fur coat with a black mock neck, black trousers, and black boots. So that is what I had in my mind. I could either go that route or I could go denim, sneakers, faux fur, or my long black blazer. And we did the layer thing. Okay, you'll see here that I did wear my Nike Dunks, the burgundy ones that I shared with you in my shoe video. If you didn't see that, I'll put it up here. And throughout this whole video, I'm going to tell you different fashion tips and things too. I really wanted to wear black boots, but you guys, I don't have any. I did order some that I haven't gotten yet from Tamara Mellon. She had all of her shoes half off. She is one of the co-designers of Jimmy Choo. So when I get those, I'm hoping they're going to be like a out-of-town shopping boot. If I'm just shopping locally for 2 to 3 hours, there's a lot of things I can wear. But when you know you're walking through airports, you're walking down streets, you're going to be on your feet for, gosh, what is it? Over, 12 to 14 hours, I've learned to just forfeit the look that I want for the shoe. Now, I do have solid black, all black Hokas. I should have worn those. For some reason in my mind, I couldn't get over them not being chic and not being just the look that I wanted. But in hindsight, I would have worn those because as comfortable as Nike Dunks are, size up half, by the end of the night, my toes were sore. And that could go with some other things I was going to tell you about. Okay, so let me tell you my layers. I have on the Anthropologie cashmere sweater. I have on my Pumi double layer top. I have on I did not like the Amazon fleece lined hose. I was like, no way. I would rather be cold. I'm not wearing these. And so I put on the Hue heat temp tights. Those are my favorites. I wore some old trousers from Express, some of my favorites, and my cashmere quince socks over the hose. And I think that might be part of why my feet hurt. I think footless tights may have been even better because I'm not used to wearing hose and socks in my sneakers. And I think it does make your foot kind of slide and hit the end of the shoe. So that is a little tip there. Okay, we had planned on stopping by McDonald's and getting, both of us like the Egg McMuffins, 2 of them with no muffin, but we didn't have time. So we got to the airport and I was thinking, thank goodness, because there was a long line. Even though we have this little bitty airport, there was a long line and it took a while. Here we are. It was 6:03. I'm waiting for John to park the truck. And here we are on the plane. It says 7:54, but okay, we must have been pretty much, almost there. But I wanted to show you, John wore the socks that I got him, and I did not know if he would wear these. I got these for Will. They're the ones from Walmart, those double layer socks. I can't remember of the name right off the bat, but I had gotten John the golf ones. Okay, this is so against his personality. He is plain Jane. He does not want any attention. He doesn't like bright colors, but because they were golf, he let it slide. So he put those on and he couldn't decide if he was going to wear his sneakers. He's got the Hokas, but he wanted to put the leather ones on, leather shoes on. I think these are Clark's or something like that. They're comfortable shoes because he felt like they would be warmer. And, the temperature was going to be in the 30s up to the 40s. And I've been there when it was good to get over 100. So I think we thought it was going to be a little colder than it was, but it's nice to be prepared. And I told him, I said, look, we can easily take something off. When we get there, let's just make sure we're warm. So he really liked those socks. And so this is another little thing. Part of my little thing in life is I always wanted to fly first class, and that is what I do. To me, it's worth the extra money most of the time, especially when I'm flying by myself. But there was not 2 seats in first class. So we got the comfort section, and we lucked out. The first time when we flew there, we got those first seats right behind first class, and we had a lot of leg room. And see, if I'm flying with someone, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're not, you're in those little seats and you're scrunched between people, and I just would rather know where I'm gonna sit, all that kind of stuff, that it's bigger seats, all that kind of stuff. So I think we saved I don't know, it was a lot. Maybe even, it was like $800 or something I think we saved by flying Comfort. And when you're on a straight flight that's an hour and 15 minutes and you already know it's one of those small planes, it's really not worth it to fly first class. So we really loved our seats. Here we are in the plane, and you see John wore his hat, you took his sunglasses. And at first, I was a little upset that he did not bring his backpack, because last time he brought his backpack. And it was nice just to have it to put my phone charger and things like that in there. But in hindsight, I took my Chanel DeVille tote, and though it was a little heavy with one of my best purchases ever, ever, ever are the Apple headset, the earphones, whatever you call them. I love those things. So I had them all charged up, had those in there, had my charger. I'll link all this stuff below because it's the best charger ever. And I had my J. Crew cashmere wrap that I never used the whole time I was there, but I had it just in case. And so there's that. So I got over him not having his backpack because it was better for him to be hands-free and to be able to carry my bags. Okay, so here we are flying into New York. It says Brooklyn at the top. And we immediately went to the bathroom, and because we didn't have time to stop at McDonald's, we both said, because we don't have to pick up luggage, we don't have anywhere to go. And that was the beauty of it. It was a go with the flow. I told him, I said, I've got a wish list of bags. If you haven't seen that video, it's my best luxury bags purchase of the year. I'll put that up here. And I told you my wish list. So I already had my wish list in my head. And I said, it won't take me long. Let's just go with the flow. Let's just sit down, get our Diet Cokes, people watch. And that is one of the reasons I wanted to go to New York instead of Atlanta or a lot of the other places that I could have taken a straight flight, is because I felt like if I went to New York, not only would I get to experience New York at Christmas, I would be around really stylish people, because I really, really get inspired when I'm traveling. And I think a lot of us do. It helps me understand you guys too, and be a better fashion YouTuber, because it helps me understand your lifestyle a lot better. And so I really wanted to go to New York. That's why we went there. So here we are. We just got in the airport, and we immediately saw this place that looked good for breakfast. You guys, it was one of the best breakfasts that I have had in so long. John got an omelet, and here he took a picture of me, and then we both got our Diet Cokes, and here's my Chanel DeVille that I took with us. So he got an omelet with a side of greens. He gets tomatoes, mushrooms, and sausage in his omelet, I believe. And then we both got bacon. And it reminded me of the bacon that we got at that really nice steakhouse in Atlanta, where it's really thick sliced. And when you bite into it, it just melts in your mouth. To someone like me, it is like candy. It was so good. Our waitress was so nice. It was just one of the best parts of the trip. And then here we are, we're getting into the airport, and this welcome to New York sign, I've taken pictures of this before, and we had a couple in front of us, and I was kind of checking them out on the escalator, because when she was looking at him, she was so into him. I could tell she was really putting on that feminine energy and that charm, and I felt like I didn't know if he was really into it. But then they were in front of us, and then he told her to go up and take her picture in this little sign. I was like, okay, he's into her. And so I did the same thing. This is something I probably would have never done had I not been with John, of course, and had not seen them. But now I'm glad I have this picture. And I asked John, could I tell you these stories? Because I didn't want, you never know if you want to, if everybody wants to know your business. But I felt like John and I were a little scammed twice when we were in New York. And just like I was telling him this morning, I'm not ashamed of it because we are generous, good people, I think. We want to help others, and we are not used to being on guard like you do have to be in a big city. We are both Southern, and we're just not used to that. So the first time we got scammed was really not that big of a deal. But we were walking out the door, and there's this guy like right there. I would probably have to say in both instances, be careful of people right there at the door in your face, because that's what happened in both instances. And we were walking out the door, and there's this guy saying, "You want a taxi? You want a taxi? You want a taxi?" And we were like, "Yeah." So he gets us to follow him, down the sidewalk. And I'm thinking, And then he waves to a woman. You know how there's just like those lanes and lanes of traffic? It's really overwhelming for people like us that just aren't used to being in that. And so there is his coworker, wife, girlfriend, whatever, but a middle-aged lady in a pretty decent car. Can you remember, like a Toyota Camry? And she's waving for us to come over. And I'm thinking, okay, the whole time, this is what I'm thinking. Good for him. Good for him for being proactive and coming to get people to ride in his taxi, And then I realized, okay, that's not a taxi, but I have John with me, so I don't feel scared of her. We get in the car, and she's got, like a meter, and she can take Apple Pay, and she tells us immediately. And you know how when someone says something to you, you may not even know why it sounds weird, but your intuition just tells you, why did they say that like that? So she asked us where we're going, and we said Bergdorf. Okay, first of all, she needed the address, so we gave it to her, and she put it in there, and she said it's going to be an hour drive because of the traffic, and she didn't tell us the cost. We pretty much knew that from being there, and I've been there multiple times. So we take off, and here we are in the back of her car. John, bless his heart. I will say, I love the fact that even though he went with me and he was in a good mood and he was very loving, it was really a good bonding time for us because we don't travel together a lot. That's another thing about just a one-day trip. Will just stayed here. The cats were fine, all of that good stuff. You don't have any of that stuff to mess with. It's not like he faked it. I don't want to be like giving you this idea that he was just like so happy to be there and was just happy Jack the whole time. He wasn't, but he was very nice. And that's all that I want. I want him to be his genuine self, and I don't want to feel like I've beaten him down, but he did good. So here we are, and I love what I'll do is put it on the weather app. And I'll see, like where we are, the different towns we're going through. There's probably an easier way, but that's just the way I've always done it. And I love to just look at the buildings and just see how other people live. Because when you've lived in one place your whole life, and even though I've traveled some, I still like seeing where actual people live. And I think that's why I love Soho so much, is because you can walk around more and see people in their daily life. Whereas when you go to the city, most people are tourists just like you. So I loved the ride. And then she pulled us right up to Bergdorf and let us out. And I looked around. It was so magical. I love it. I love it. I took pictures of the windows all dressed up for Christmas. And then across the street, right where she dropped us off, is this new, big, unbelievable, like iconic, can't believe it, Louis Vuitton building that they are working on across the street. And in that moment, I thought I was going to be able to go in there. But right when we walked in, I heard a lady saying, "Now, why wouldn't they have that ready for Christmas?" And so I got kind of a clue that it must not be open. But we went in the same door. It's the little things. We went in the same door that we went in last time that we went there. So it was the Goyard on the left. And then, okay, so here's a little bit. And then the Christmas tree right ahead. And then this is another outfit of the day pick. And then one thing I wanted to tell you is last time we were there, it was for Fashion Week. And it was just a one-day trip. And I met Maria at the Dior counter. And I was looking at all the different Dior bags, and we just clicked, and she helped me shop around the store. And I've told you guys many times that I am the person who wants to have someone shop with me. I want you to help me. I want you to be with me. I love that. I love a whole shopping experience. And so I had been messaging with her. We always do. She had sent me a bunch of shoes that were on sale a few weeks ago. And I told her, I had been telling her for the past few months, I really hoping I can make it up there for Christmas. I'm really hoping I can make it. And even last week, I messaged her and I said, what days are you off next week? Well, of course, she was off on Thursday. So I wasn't really going to bug her about anything. I want people to take their days off, but she kept in touch. And even that morning, she said, is there anything I can hold for you? I said, no. I said, I want to look at the saddlebag and the Lady Dior bag in medium. And I said, and I've got a lot of other bags on my mind. And she said, okay, well, I want you to ask for my manager when you get there at the Dior counter. And then my friend Emmanuel will help you at the rest of the store. He's at the Fendi counter. So that's what I had on my mind. So we immediately went to the little Dior section, which I have to admit is a peaceful part of the store. It was cray-cray. It was crazy. And I knew it was going to be. So neither one of us were like, I can't say we weren't overwhelmed because we were, but we weren't shocked. I'll put it that way. So we went there, and here's Audrey bringing out the medium Lady Dior in black, and then the saddlebag. And then I wanted to see the large Lady Dior also, because I've kind of gotten back into the big bags. You know how we are. We go back and forth, back and forth. And I really like a crossbody bag more in the summer for some reason. So John took some pictures here. And this, by the way, this is the same hair as my last Friday video. So far, my whole hair plan has worked to be able to go 3 nights instead of 1 night with my hair, which is a big plus. So she showed me, this is the medium Lady Dior and the larger one. And then this is my favorite saddlebag. Just the classic oblique design. I love that big D hanging. It's kind of tarnished looking. And I definitely want this, but I just wasn't feeling it. Here's the denim. I really like that one too, but I have the denim Louis Vuitton, so I didn't want to get that one. And then we headed over to Fendi. Okay, he was expecting me. So he was right there. He knew my name immediately. And little things like that, that's what I'm talking about. That is why I would rather know someone there and be working with a sales associate, because I don't know, it just makes the whole experience better. But I do understand some people feel pressured and they don't like it. So I understand. I think there's both kinds of people. And I already had on my mind what I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at the Fendi Peekaboo Soft in the large. Okay, I already have the black Fendi Peekaboo medium in the traditional. Love that bag. Love it. Love it. You will never regret it. I also have it in this like periwinkle blue purple type color that I love. So here is the blue one. That is the first one that I looked at. Beautiful gold hardware. Here I am taking pictures with it. And then here is the black one. The black one will take your breath away because it is just so beautiful. But I just could not justify the black one because I already have the medium one and I don't want to sell it. I bought that when I was in Miami, I think with Sheila. I think that's where I bought it. So I did not want to get rid of that. And I just thought that would just be silly to have 2 bags that look exactly the same, exact same color and everything. So I didn't want to get anything big like that until I went to Chanel, because I always like to see what Chanel has. I told you guys before, you cannot buy a Chanel flap bag over, you can't get it shipped. You have to be there. So I always check out what they have. And then I already had in my head different colors. I had yellow on my mind. I had blue, green, red, And then I also had croc embossed leather on my mind and just different things like that. Okay, I had been using my lambskin Chanel with the gold chain that goes under the bag, and I really knew that I really love the look of the lambskin. So he walked with us over to Chanel, and the first thing he showed me was I think this was the first bag he showed me. And then he showed me what is the one that's the top handle? Hold on, let me get this bag because I'm unboxing them all with you. They've been boxed up since we got back. I'm so excited to see them again. Okay, so here it is. And this is a special, special bag. Looks like it's complete with one of my hairs, which is everywhere. Always is. And I had to lint roll this chair before I sat down because Sassy's been sitting in my chair. So if it's not my hair, it's kitty hair all over the place. Okay, like I said, have not looked at this in a while. Okay, that's something else in that. We did have to condense our bags a few times. And so here it is. They wrapped it up all special with the camellia and everything. Okay, when they brought this bag out, it was like it had magic sparkle dust coming from it. I looked at John and when I could tell he loved this bag. I can always tell if he likes something or if he wants me to get it. I can just tell. It's kind of like when you used to take your kids to pick out a toy because my kids are spoiled. And you should have seen him picking out the toy he wanted. He would go up and down the aisles. For a long time, it was the trains, the train or whatever. We would get new trains and stuff. You could tell by the way he looked at something if that was going to be it. And then he would look a little bit longer, and sure enough, he'd come back to that. So that's how it was when they took this out. And then another thing is it was crazy there. It was crazy. Like, even though we were at the Chanel counter shopping, there's just like people everywhere coming in and out, people everywhere, people like yelling stuff, kind of chaotic. And John was sitting and I'm looking at this and okay, I don't mean this in a bad way, but just traveling helps you learn more about people in other places. And this is just something that would probably never happen here where I live. But as soon as this bag came out, this woman came and stood literally behind me like she was with me. Like, she was probably closer to me than John was at this point. And it wasn't like she wanted to just be there and shop with me. She was just there. And then I heard her tell her sales associate she wanted the bag that I'm in the process of looking at and getting. Well, John heard her. It was all over. And so I don't even have a picture of me trying this on. The trendy is the one that I tried on. I don't even have a picture of me trying it on because when I went over and tried on the trendy, it looked like all of my other black Chanel bags with gold hardware. It didn't look that special, but I do really like it. It's still like way back there. But this one, you guys. And this is going to be either you love it or you hate it. Kind of like my little camera bag. It's not, I don't know if you would call this novelty, but it's not your average everyday bag. And matter of fact, I really couldn't believe it was a classic flap. Okay, here it is. Okay, a little Chanel sticker. And then here, let me take all the felt off because there's certain things that really made this bag special. Okay, here she is. She took our breath away. So she is a medium flap bag. It is still lambskin leather, but it's smooth. So it's not going to be quite as fragile as the pebbled it's not the pebbled, but the quilted. And let me tell you all the things because it might be kind of like a personal thing that makes me love this bag so much. Here's the back. I am a sucker for the Chanel chain, and I just loved how pretty that was with this red leather running through it. I love this shade of red. where it's got like a little tilt to the orangey side, kind of like Cajun shrimp. To me, it's very, I don't know why I'm feeling 60s. I'm seeing this girl jumping and she's got black and white checkerboard something on. It's kind of like Mary Tyler Moore looking to me, Mary Tyler Moore. There is just something like Mad Men or something I have in my head when I see this. And I love enamel, like enamel on this little, whatever it is, what do you call this, turn lock? And it is not gold hardware. I think it's champagne, which I think is perfect. And when I tried it on, I went over to the mirror. I didn't even take a picture. It was just one of those moments. And it was just all over after that. So you can do it just like this, or you can do it crossbody like this. And we got it. We got it right that moment. I told John, I said, oh, I didn't want to, buy anything big right from the beginning because I really wanted to have my options open. And with everybody standing around, like everybody that went by said something about that bag and about this bag. And it was one of those things. It's like they probably would have held it, but I felt good about it. So John wanted me to get it. And even look at the bottom. It is just so special. Okay, other bags that I did consider at that moment are, my Prada bag that I love so much, the East West or West East, whatever. Some of them say one way, some of them say the other. In my case, it's the East West bag from Prada. I have the one that is like that latte type color. I love it. That bag it's everything. That's what I wore last time I went to New York. So I wanted to look at the one that is a little bit bigger and black. I love that finish of the leather. So here I am trying that on. And he brought everything in there to the Chanel counter. So John didn't have to get up and we didn't have to move. Okay, here's the new Margot from the Row, and it's their new East-West design. I love it, but you know what the deal breaker was? The silver hardware. And they all have silver hardware. So here's both of those bags. And okay, here is a girl that I looked across because I am watching everyone. I am paying attention to what they're wearing. I'm paying attention to what their shoes are. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I want to see the most stylish people and what they're wearing to shop and to shop at a high-end store like this. And I was really surprised about a few things. First of all, I could not believe how many sneakers I saw. Lots and lots of sneakers, good ones and average ones and everything else on men and women. So many Uggs, like just your classic Uggs. I was surprised at that. And then the most best, most practical thing, best looking thing I saw were boots, black boots. They usually had a lug sole. And I even paid attention to the women and people that were working there. They, 9 times out of 10, had a black boot on, like a combat boot. Well, I've ordered those ones from Tamara Mellon. They didn't get here. They're not even getting here till, I think, after Christmas, maybe right before Christmas. And so I asked him about that. And he said, the Chanel combat boots are so comfortable. He said, and this is something he told us. He said, Maria and I are going to take care of you guys. We're going to treat you for lunch at the restaurant upstairs. I knew that Bergdorf had 3 different restaurants. And so he went out there and he said, they're full. He said, but we'll go up there and we'll see how long the wait is. Okay. This is one of the big kind of events that happen of the day. Okay. Before that, let me show you this girl. When I was sitting there, there was this group of girls and one of them walked up. And this was such a moment that I wish I could have recorded to show you guys what difference it makes to dress your best and to look good. Because let me tell you, when this girl walked up, all of her friends just told her how good she looked, how beautiful she looked, and just made her feel so special. And it got my attention. I turned around and she had on a fitted blazer, buttoned, with a little thin belt around it. Now that's nothing new, but I was just, nothing looked like high-end designer or anything crazy. It's not like she had a Chanel jacket on with a Chanel belt. It was just a plain, I think it was like a mint green type jacket. Yeah, like a not mint green, but maybe a khaki greenish type jacket, and then a little belt. And I heard them asking her where she got the belt and all of that stuff. I loved it for her. I know that was a good moment for her. But, okay, I've told you guys so many times I don't use credit cards. It's kind of silly because I could be getting air miles. I could be getting something out of it, but I love knowing I don't owe anything. And I do have a Nordstrom card, but the only reason I have that is so I can shop the Nordstrom sale early. And so I do have one card that is kind of like a sister card to my debit card. And a lot of times when I shop, I will use that credit card so that I can keep up with how much money I've spent easily. And then when I get home, usually John just transfers it back over to me because I think his name is on most of our accounts and he can do anything, like do all that kind of stuff. And that's just how we do it. I spend it and he he moves it around. And we had just gotten this card because it had been hacked. So we had just gotten my new one. John had just activated it and he put a traveling note on it. Well, you guys, decline. This is the Chanel bag. Decline. The guy said, okay, that happens a lot. You're traveling. And so John got a text and he called him and talked to him. And they told him to run it again. Decline. Then let's just say they declined it at least 3, if not 4 times. So let's just say we no longer have that card. They wanted us to film a video and send it to them. And John was like, there's no point in having this card if we can't use it. So I just ended up using my debit card. It was no big deal, but I told them, I said, if he wasn't with me, I would probably not get this bag because stuff like that freaks me out. But it ended up being kind of a good moment because John was determined I was getting that bag. And he didn't go off on the people, but he let them know. That was ridiculous. You know, we've had that card for, you guys, I don't know, probably 10 years, if not more. So that happened. Emmanuel took us upstairs, and I have been to that restaurant. I forgot, but I went there with Sheila one time. I think it looks over the plaza, and you talk about chaos. It was so crowded up there. And so he went and got us both Diet Cokes, and we sat down on a little bench and kind of regrouped. Went to the bathroom. There was really pretty art up on the wall. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is just the stuff I love. Kind of vintage, classic, fashion, New York, all of that stuff. I loved like watching the people. You know what I really love too, and this is one of the reasons I love Milan on Trend, that YouTube channel, is I love seeing older, mature people and how they dress. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So we stayed up there for a little bit, and then we went down to the shoe section. Here are the Chanel combat boots. And I almost wish I would have tried them on, but in that moment, I felt like they were too tall, even to wear underpants. I knew I probably was not going to wear these boots with pants. I don't know, they just cooked me out because they were too tall. These were just okay. Then I went and checked out the sales section, which really had some good deals. Then these are I think they're Loewe boots, but the toe was too funky. And then I loved this Loewe On Cloud. Is that what it's called? On? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. It's a little collaboration. Then we saw this girl in the little hallway getting on the escalator, and she had on these Croc boots. Well, they were Balenciaga. And you guys know the whole scandal with Balenciaga. So I knew I couldn't do those, but they look so good. So we ended up leaving the Bergdorf Goodman. I have a hard time saying that name. And this is where scam number 2 happened. And this is something that just watch out for. It wasn't that bad at all, but it was kind of unsettling. We were walking out the door of Bergdorf. We were going to walk over they had told me that Louis Vuitton had like a pop-up shop. And I knew I wanted to go to the Gucci store. I had a real good, sweet girl that helped me there last time. And you will be amazed at how many people are still there. Like the woman from Fendi recognized me. I had worked with her a little bit. And that's just the few times I've been there. So we went outside, and before we could get down the steps or get out of the door, these guys like came right up to us, and they were telling us about it was really kind of chaotic. I didn't know what they were asking. And I was kind of getting through the crowd, and John had already told me, he said, you just go, I will not lose you. And because it's just too chaotic to walk as a couple or hold hands or anything like that. So I had already gone, and I kind of had passed by them because I'm a little bit more savvy to things like that, because it was kind of like, do you guys remember when we were in Florida and those girls in the mall that really approach you and you have to almost be mean to them and keep walking? And then that time that John wasn't used to it and they ended up putting eye cream on him. Okay, it was kind of like one of those moments. And he's not used to that. And so I went through them, and they're basically asking for money. And I turned back and look, and John is talking to one of them. I mean, there was like 5 guys. And he comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you have any cash?" So I just reached down in my bag and I pulled out a 20. So I gave the guy a 20. Well, then that wasn't good enough. All of his friends wanted a 22. So I thought to myself, okay, no, this is not what we signed up for here. So I did reach back into my purse and I pulled out like 3 ones. Do you guys know they would not take it? Like they did like this when I was giving it to them. And then one of them finally reached out and took it. And they were mad. They were pissed that I did not give them each a 20. It was such a kind of like a sad moment, because I like to think the best of everyone. And they were like doing this for a group, for the kids, and all of this stuff. And just the way they acted was not good. It was way too aggressive, very unappreciative, and it just made me sad. It was just kind of like a little moment. And it made John regret even stopping to talk to him and coming. He said, "I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry. I'm the one that came over and asked you for money." And I said, "John, we can't be sorry that we're not used to people doing stuff like that and being so inappreciative of something and just being mean like that." I mean, they were really mean. And so we head to the thing, go across the street. That is when we see that glorious Louis Vuitton building. So John took a picture of me, and then there was these 2 girls in front of me. You'll see one of them has a Chanel bag, and then one of them has this wool-like looking jacket with buttons on it. It's not really a blazer, but it's kind of, I keep wanting to say Confederate jacket, but it's not. But anyway, I got up my nerve and asked her. I just knew it was Burberry, Rag & Bone, Chanel. She just looked so cute. Okay, so the pop-up shop for the Louis Vuitton was actually on the opposite side of the street, but when we went by there, oh my God, they call it a queue. There was this long line, and I will have to say, it was not that cold. It was not that cold. Matter of fact, everywhere we went, John had to carry my fur. Now, I did take this is one of my first faux furs. It is from Zara, and they just don't make them like this anymore. It is very thick. It was a little bit longer, and I wish that I could find another one for you because it was so warm. It was so warm. Okay, here is the Louis Vuitton pop-up shop. It is pretty with the giraffe and everything. And then we went into Gucci. Here are some bag charms. I thought they were so cute. You see the kitty cat right there on the right and a parrot. And then here is Sweet John. That's what he would do. Everywhere we went, he would just find a seat, pretty much keep his eyes on me at all times and let me just look around. You can see my faux fur up there on the counter. And so we looked at everything, and here is what I got. I had been looking at the toboggans. I call them toboggans. What are they called? Beanies now online, but they're sizes, and I didn't know which one I wanted. So I wanted to look at those there. So we went on, I think, the 2nd or 3rd floor and looked at the hats. There were not many left. He said they were sold out, but I ended up getting this. John really liked this a lot more than he did the beanies. And I need to take this off. But I almost put it right on that day, but I don't know, they wrapped it up so pretty in a box that we ended up taking out and throwing away because we were condensing. But it's this Gucci hat. It's kind of like, is it wool? Made in Italy, and it's size, I got a big head. I know that. Let's see if it says, yes, a size large, 58 centimeters. And at first when I put it on, it was too large. But then I didn't realize it was adjustable. So here it is, and I love it. And then when we were upstairs, I looked over and I saw these fragrances. I had already kind of smelled all the fancy ones downstairs. And I mean, they were good and everything, but they're like really expensive. And then I saw this one, and this one wasn't as crazy expensive. Matter of fact, I think you can get this one on some of those discount sites. It was this one and a green one, and it's called Gucci Guilty, but this is the Elixir de Parfum. And look how pretty the bottle is. You know this purple color got me. I've always loved purple, but this especially. Isn't that beautiful? I think like the juice of it is maybe a different color, but I sprayed it and it's not boyfriend. It's pretty. He read the notes to me, and let me see. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, it smells, if you like my really good mainstream fragrances like the Paco Rabanne, the Prada. Wow, this is so good. That is, it's beautiful. It's not fresh. It's beautiful. It's round. There's definitely some flowers in there. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Yes, Ulta has it. Ulta Beauty has it. Daring Assertion, a colorful extroversion. Ambery floral perfume for women. Enticing scent features a sensual vanilla and tonka base, floral wisteria heart with citric, mandora, and bergamot top note. So fragrance family is ambery, scent type ambery, floral, woody. Top is bergamot, mandora, violet accord. Middle is wisteria, rose, osmanthus accord, and base is vanilla, tonka, and patchouli. So you get what it is, but oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so we left there. Oh my gosh, I took a picture of one of these big, even on that Louis Vuitton building, even the big like rivet things had the Louis Vuitton on the outside. I mean, just to take that picture, I remember people were like whizzing by me. Okay, so we went back to Bergdorf, and I knew in my head one of the bags that I wanted, and I knew that we wanted to sit down somewhere and eat. One thing that I thought there would be more of, there wasn't, was places to just sit down and like collect your thoughts, like get a plan together. It is so hard when there's that many people and they're talking like all these different languages really loud. And it's just so different for us that, and it's very different than even like Soho, New York. And so it was just like, we just needed some time to like regroup. So I said, let's go back to Bergdorf and let's try to eat at that other restaurant. So I had the Fendi Soft Peekaboo on my mind. And if you guys remember, hold on, this bag. This is one of my favorite bags of all times. This is the Balenciaga City bag. I can't remember what blue it is with rose gold hardware. And John bought this for me many, many years ago when he went to Boston with work. And this is a big deal to me. I love this bag. I loved carrying it. It means a lot to me. And because Balenciaga messed up, no fault of this, I can't carry this bag because there's just too many people out there that would get upset about it. And so I've really missed that bag. So what we did is we went back to the Fendi counter and I got that blue bag. And what he did is got us a place to eat. He walked, every time we went somewhere, he would walk us there. And he was talking with Maria and my rep. And he took us down to the beauty level, and that is where this restaurant was, and they had an open table. So we got to sit there, and we didn't expect them to pay for we just liked that he took us down there and got us in. He said, I'm going to get your bag ready, and then I'll be right back down here. So we took the hat and the perfume out of the Gucci box, and we condensed it so that we just had the one bag, and then he brought this to me, and I have not opened it. Wow, that is a beautiful bow. I mean, I just pulled two out of it. Gorgeous. I love, love, love this eggplant color ribbon. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, here we go. Oh, goodness, you guys. Look at that beauty. It is so gorgeous. Now, I had already seen this color online, and I love it. I already knew this was one of the colors. They also had brown. They had like a khaki color, but it was definitely all along, it was either going to be the blue or the black. And the reason I didn't do the black, like I said, is because I already have one. Okay, this one does not come with a crossbody. It's an arm bag. Does have the dust bag there. And so you adjust it. You can wear it on your shoulder if you leave it long enough. So I'm going to put it, oh, okay. And then this, see how the holes are kind of strategically placed where you can either do it a real top handle or your shoulder. I'm going to do it in the middle. And then you can open it and all this stuff. Do you guys remember my Fendi monster bag? I sold it. I love that little bag. Why? Back then, you know, it was different times. Our kids were young, and I sold a bag to get a bag. So, but when you get older, you can treat yourself a little bit more. Okay. So what is this? Okay, that's just the stuffing in here. That, and I keep it. And then, okay, so the exact color, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's Poseidon with soft gold. And under this side, and you'll see the softness of it. It isn't as structured as the regular ones. Oh my goodness. And so I can pull out this chair. Here it is. You know, I might do it down to the true, I don't know. Let me use it before I change anything. But see how it is? It doesn't really have a structured bottom. Love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's baby number 2. And let me tell you about what we ate. Okay, so here we are sitting down at this Contorni. Is that the name of the restaurant? Really pretty. Here's John. And I ordered shrimp cocktail because I knew that was something I could eat and it wouldn't upset my stomach. And the guy said he did have a filet. Well, John said, let me go ahead, and John got the eggplant parmesan. And then it was one of those restaurants where you get like little small portions, I think. And John said, I'll go ahead and order the filet. And if it's good, you can have it. If it isn't, I'll eat it. Well, we did not realize they were treating us to dinner there. So they ended up ordering 2 fillets. So I got to eat a fillet and the shrimp cocktail. So good. Not a bunch of spices or anything on it. Nothing upset my stomach. And while we were waiting, I went and looked around the beauty section. I ended up getting one little Sicily lip thing, but it isn't. I mean, it's okay. But I just kind of wanted to see what they had. And I tell you, I pretty much had everything. Then I ran into this girl and she looked so cute and she let me take a picture of her. I just thought that was so cute to have that white, fresh, frilly top with those camouflage pants and the boots. Okay, then he had delivered my Fendi bag downstairs when we were eating, but I still wanted to, there was one more bag I wanted to look at. And I said, do you guys have the Ferragamo hug bag in the chocolate suede? And he said, I don't know. He said, I'm going to go get it and you just come back to the counter. So that's what we did. And here we go. I really was impressed. I had never seen this bag in person and I've seen pictures. And okay, I could barely get the drawstring thing to open. I had to go get John to help me. So here it is. And I am so glad that, oh my gosh. And it is twice as pretty in person because there is something about that brown that has that chocolate milk tone to it. It's not fudgy goodness. It's more like that purpley, dark chocolate milk type color. And it is beautiful. So this hugs around, but you can take these off. He showed me like all of the different things that it does. It does have a crossbody that I will probably never use. And then he was saying you could tuck in the straps and use it like a clutch, which I probably would never do. I just want to use it like this. And I was thinking it would make an excellent travel tote. It does have the feet on it, so you can put it on the floor. And I just think it's beautiful. It was definitely worth the wait. And all of it was very, very worth the wait because you probably heard me talk about my wish list and thought, she's going to be getting one of those soon. And I just kept waiting and looking at them and watching different videos and just paying attention to the look that I like. I tell you, I really was looking for, I love black leather croc embossed too. That is another look. And of course, I love the Hermes Birkin. And so that was something that I was looking for. And then, so we got that, and then we had a little bit of time left. So I had messaged Maria and I said, where are the clothes? What floor are the clothes on? I said, clothes like I would wear. Like we passed one floor that looked like, I don't know, like who shops there, but it was like high end. And here's my Gucci bag. I love stuff like this. Okay, so we went up there, and everywhere I went, let me make sure I haven't forgotten a bunch of stuff here. Yeah, everywhere I went, I did try on Gucci. I tried on 2 pair of boots. They were hard and there was no way they were comfortable. Then when I went upstairs, they had some really cool sneakers that I tried on that weren't that comfortable. And yeah, so I didn't get any shoes. But here I got tricked a little bit. They had a whole rack that was Isabel Marant sweatshirts and stuff for 40% off. Well, they had one rack and then another rack, but all in the same line. So I thought this one was 40% off. Well, it wasn't. But I was able to, you couldn't do this on like the Chanel and the higher end, but they were running a gift card event. So I'm going to get, with these 2 purchases, I think I'm going to get $300 or $400 gift card. So I got this sweatshirt, but I will tell you I found a really close dupe that I'll link below. But it is a Marant sweatshirt that kind of comes up. I wouldn't say it's like this one. This is a Nina Bing that I showed you on Friday, but just a really cool, oversized Isabel Marant sweatshirt, black on black. And I knew I would get a lot of use out of this. This is something that I can imagine traveling in with my big quince oversized blazer over it. Just very cool. Very cool. And then the girl that was helping me, I asked her, of course, I was asking everyone about blazers because, that's my favorite thing to get. And I didn't see any that I liked. And I just got that sweatery thing that I like so much. But I asked her favorite jeans, and these were her go-to jeans. And they are Legence. And they are, she said it was kind of like a skinny wide leg. Does that make any sense? But I don't know if you've ever had Legence jeans. They are like butter. And it's called the Scotty, high rise wide leg. And I got size 26 because she said that they do have stretch. And I loved the color. And to me, they just looked like the kind of jeans that would look really cool with a pointed boot or pump coming out of the bottom. Okay, about this time, John looks at me and he says, we've only got 2 hours to get back to the airport and catch our flight. And I remember at that time thinking, what? It didn't seem right, but I was ready to go anyway. And let me tell you, not one time did I wish I was staying overnight. I was so ready to go. I was so ready to get home. So it was just perfect. And I even looked at him and I said, if someone would have told me 10 years ago that I would be the woman flying to New York to shop for the day with her husband, I would have never believed it. So it was just a dream come true, and just like many things. And he's such a good husband. I just really appreciated him going with me. And so we went outside. Here's the plaza. And we had to go across the street, catch a cab. One of them stopped instantly. And we take the cab back. And that is when we realized that he only charged us, hey, John. Oh, okay. That was Will. I think the cab ride back was only $78, but the taxi ride there with the other girl was like $150. So that's what I meant when not only was it not a taxi, it was probably double the price. And it's no big deal. It's not like that's a big scam, but it was just something that got my attention. Here's John holding all my bags. That was making him so nervous. Okay, here's a girl I was standing in line behind, and I just wanted to show you that I don't think this was a really high-end outfit or anything, but just the fact that she put those 2 together and made an outfit of it just made her look so stylish. The Christmas trees there. Okay, we were not that hungry. Okay, back up. We had plenty of time. What time is this? 6:57. Our plane did not even board until 8:30 or 9. I think at 9 o'clock. So we went, of course, got in LaGuardia. I had this pizza. It was not a New York pizza. It was more like more bread. It was barely anything on there to eat. John had wings. And then here's my bag and my shoes. We sat there and waited to go. And I had like downloaded a lot of videos, and he just listened to music on the way back. And then we got home. We watched a little bit of TV, talked to Will a little bit, checked on everybody, put the cats to bed, and here we are. So it was wonderful. It couldn't have been any better. So what did I think about New York, Christmas time, all the things? This is what I told John. Been there, done that. Like, I thought it was beautiful. It was a great day, but I don't feel the urge like I've got to go back. I feel like I experienced enough of it, and I would just rather go when it's walk around weather and I can go to Soho and then maybe still go to Bergdorf or something. But I'm very appreciative for the experience, and I loved it. So, okay, guys. So this is my sweatshirt that I wore. I just got in my Friday video, my wolf ring, my Dean Davidson studs, and that is it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.